Hey, how's it going? I am Date. I am gonna start my channel off with some manga stuff, reviews, whatever. And I wanted to give my opinions or first impressions on A Drifting Life by Yoshihiro Tatsumi. This is my second time recording this. I messed up the audio. It's my first video and I'm already making mistakes. It's okay. So I have to think about what I said first. Right. This is an autobiography by Mr. Tatsumi, and it's written as a manga. Kind of weird when you think about it. It's the concept itself seems weird, but it makes sense. I've always heard good things about this, watching other people like manga reviewers talk about it in their collections and stuff. And it's very popular also because it's a one volume story. I just want to give my first impressions or ideas, opinions without spoiling. Not really a review, just what I thought about it. This book, it made me rethink the way I look at manga or read it a lot, because it's written in a very I don't want to call it old way, but I guess classic way. It's very square panel-y. It's still a very common thing that's done a lot nowadays, but not as much as it used to be. It's good, but since we're so used to the more modern look of manga, it might not appeal to some people. So I want to make that clear to some people. It's very, very simplistic when it comes to the panel, and drawings too are very simplistic. Nothing crazy impressive, but they're still solid drawings for the story it's trying to tell. It starts off with him as a kid. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the area in Japan it was at. I finished reading this like 2 weeks ago. But basically it's more like a rural side of Japan. And as a kid, how he published like the 4-panel comics like that were really popular back in the 50s or so. It's basically his life from 14 years old to like, I want to say mid-20s. It tries to cover a lot of what brought him into the world of manga, all he went through, his hardships, and some really interesting things. And as he's progressing through time, he also likes to mention a lot of history, so you can get an idea of what was going on around that time. And it's very interesting. You do learn a lot about history alone, especially the manga history, but he mentions a lot of films, classic films, so I didn't recognize any of them. But if you're into that kind of thing, same with like stars around the world and important things in the world that were happening, like wars and events like that. It helps because it gives it a real feeling. You also learn about how manga was being created back in the day, how it was very different. No digital stuff. It was very hard print, all rough. Really cool. Different style. There was no such thing as weekly manga. That's crazy. Why would you do that? You know, that's kind of the mindset they had. Having a monthly magazine with manga was starting to become a popular thing, and that was still crazy for some people. One of my struggles with this manga is towards the second half, it gets stuck in one period of time, because as the story starts and goes to the halfway point, time's progressing like pretty fast, and that's not a bad thing. But towards the halfway point, it kind of gets stuck there, and it's pretty much the rest of the story from there. It does go through time, but it's not as big of a jump as it was in the beginning half, and that was kind of for me, because a lot of the appeal to it for me was seeing this person grow. But I get it, because that second half is pretty much a lot of important things that were happening in that small period of time. So I guess he wanted to put that all at one spot. The dialogue for the whole thing was pretty solid. It wants to keep you reading, and it does a really good job at it. It's very interesting. It has a slight spice of life feel to it, I guess. There's a little bit of drama here and there. That helps a lot. Another thing that was kind of weird, the ending was kind of sudden. It's not like it was something that didn't have much thought put into it, obviously, because this is an autobiography. There's something that happened he couldn't control. It's just a story that happened. I don't want to really spoil it, obviously, but ending was kind of sudden. I wasn't a big fan of that. No big finale, I guess you can call it. Characters really weren't like, they weren't interesting. Only here and there would be a couple characters that were appealing that you'd want to know more of, but pretty much all the characters are just uninteresting. But then again, that's, I guess, real life. It's not everyone in real life is like a comic book character, you know, that's trying to stand out. It's more like a calm story. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just something, in this story at least. But yeah, still, it's definitely worth the read. It's not expensive. It usually is lower than what it's marked here for. It says here $35. It's never that price, really. I think I got it for like $16, something like that, from Amazon. It's not that expensive. It's worth the read. It's worth the pickup. One story, one volume. You know, a lot of people are into this, and if you're trying to grow your collection, I guess it's also a good option because not many volumes and it's cheap. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think of this video. I'm gonna try to keep making some of these. I have a couple other volumes I can talk about. I'm reading through Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion. I got the 5 omnibuses, so once I finish reading those, I'm gonna give my opinion. But yeah, leave any suggestions what I can talk about or how I can improve this. It's very simple right now. I'm just not gonna do much editing because I really don't want to jump in too hard to this because I'm new to this kind of video style. But yeah, thank you for watching.